Ready as they shape, thoughts find out, and every conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest, helping coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs write client attracting books, other than Miss Suzanne Doyle-Ingram.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome,
Here
Mrs.
to be here.
Ann. Yes, welcome. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I missed?
Sure. So my name is Suzanne, and I have been helping coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs write nonfiction books for about 15 years now. And I love what I do. I started a long, long time ago after I wrote my own book. And I actually wrote it under a fake name because I thought it would fail and I was really afraid.
Uh-huh.
So I know what it's like to feel nervous and afraid when it comes to writing books. And yeah, so then I've just started teaching people my methods on how to do it. And now here I am 15 years later, just loving my job.
Yes, if you have the passion of what you're doing, even if you're tired, you have the dedication to do it. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mrs. Anne. Thank you. And today let's talk about, wow, interesting topic for today because 15 ways to use your book as a marketing tool. So,
Hmm.
tell us your purpose is using a book as a marketing tool. What is a fundamental mindset shift an author must make to see the book not as a final product, but as a dynamic asset for a business or brand?
It's a good question because I think a lot of times people don't understand really what a book is. I mean, sometimes they have a real emotional attachment to it and they call it their baby and they say, I've been working on it for 10 years and that kind of thing. Sometimes they think it's going to immediately have an impact without doing any marketing. And I always say to people, okay, I got to be honest with you. Oprah Winfrey's not going to call you. Maybe not right away, right? There's so much that you have to do after you launch your book. And so I've always been really transparent with people about that and really clear. Now, keep in mind, I don't help people with fiction books. So that's a whole different thing. But nonfiction books like self help and how to and memoirs and that type of thing are really what it's all about. And I believe when someone is a business owner, especially a coach, a consultant, or an entrepreneur, if they have a book that's written correctly, that really showcases who they are and what they stand for and how they help people achieve whatever it is they do, whether they're a chiropractor or a coach or a leadership consultant, that book can really position them as an authority. And there are so many, many, many things you can do with that type of book, and people just don't do them. So I'm so happy to have the opportunity to come on here today and talk about it.
Yes, and thank you for letting us know, Mrs. Zan. We often hear a book is the new business card. How is it the metaphor insufficient, and what is a more accurate comparison for a book's role in a modern marketing strategy?
Well, you just sprung that one on me, Daniel. I didn't know you were going to ask me that. But you know what? I think of it, people say have said that for years. A book is a new business card. This is what I teach my clients. Imagine you are a highway and there are many on ramps. Okay. Your book is one on ramp for people to find you. Being a guest on someone's podcast is another on ramp for people to find you. You might have your own podcast. You might have an online course. You might have all your social media, a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel. All of these avenues are ways for people to find you. And a book is just one of the ways, but I think a very important way, especially if it's not 300 pages. And I say to people, make it just the right size to read on a flight because a lot of business people take a lot of flights. And I love reading and writing when I'm on a flight because you're interrupted. It's perfect time. So I think of it as an on ramp to you and your business. And like I said before, really positioning you as an authority. And when you write your book correctly, you will be able to insert stories about, the transformation that occurred for your client as a result of, doing what you told them to do and that sort of thing. And I think it's a really, really valuable asset for sure.
It's a valuable asset for sure for your business. And is the ultimate marketing goal of the book to generate direct revenue or to generate higher value opportunities? How does this focus change how you promote it?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that because that's something that a lot of people don't understand. All they think about is book sales. And I explain it like this. Imagine you already have a business, which they
Yes.
do, and I say, "Do you want another full-time job trying to sell books, suddenly be a bookseller and make, $4 every time you sell a book?" Whereas you could use your book to get new clients. And I teach them about what I call the ACV, the average customer value. And a lot of people don't like talking about people in terms of money, and I understand that. But you do have to know what your average customer value is. So if you make a list of your last 10 clients or your favorite 10 clients that you had, and how much money they spend in your business, let's say in a year or over a lifetime. Add it all up, divide it by 10, and you have yourself a number. So, for some professions, like for example, coaches, that might be they spend $3,000 with them. It might be $10,000. Real estate agents, depending on where they work, could be $10 or $15,000. Some people that sell lower ticket items might only be $1,000. Once you know that number, it makes it easy for you to understand, okay, I don't want to work 40 hours a week trying to sell books when I can use my book to sell myself to get one new high ticket client or one new patient, depending on what your business is, right? The money's not in the book sales at all. It's in what the book can do for you and your visibility, your authority. You might get booked on a podcast like this, and then as you're speaking, one of the listeners thinks, oh my goodness, I love what she's saying. I'm going to contact her. Whereas, I mean, they could go to Amazon and buy your book, and that would be great too. But when you think about the hundreds or thousands of people that buy your book, they really need to take the next step in your book, which is, book a strategy call with me or download this bonus chapter. I mean, I think it's really important to have a call to action in your book, but there's no guarantee they're actually going to do that. So getting the book to open more doors for you is the most important thing that you can do.
Yes, truly, truly a marketing strategy, Miss Suzanne. And I think I did that. I created Book 101 review for all season, all my first season. I did 3 volumes, which is that is my aim. And thank you for validating it.
You're welcome. Anytime.
On a freelance and a strategic foundation, how should the actual content and structure of a book be shaped from the outset to serve its future marketing roles?
Well, it's really important to write a very, very good outline. I cannot say that enough because I can always tell when someone has written a book without an outline. It's kind of all over the place. And what you want your reader to feel like they're in the right place. You want your reader to feel a sense of belonging. Like, okay, I know where this is going. I trust this author. I feel like I know them. I like them. I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to, basically the slang expression, I'm picking up what they're putting down, right?
Yes.
So, before you write your outline, you really need to do a lot of the foundational work, which, by the way, I teach in my courses, which really means look at who you're writing the book for, why you're writing this book, what do you want to get out of this book, how do you want your reader to feel, what do you want your reader to think, what do you want your reader to do. Like, you need to really know this reader. Think about what they lie in bed at night worrying about. Okay, you want to really know this reader, because then when you're writing your book and you're writing it for that one person you have in mind, the magical thing is everyone who reads it thinks, is she talking to me? She's like reading my mind. So it's a really special trick that I teach. But having said all that, you need to do all that foundational work, and then you write your outline. So your outline can be, just for easy math, let's say it's 10 chapters, and in each chapter you're going to write 7 main points. This is just hypothetical. It could be 12 chapters, it could be 7, whatever, right? Let's say you have 10 chapters and you have 7 main points. These basically, you think, okay, this is the topic of chapter 1. What do I want to tell my reader? And you write down those main points. Then under each one of those points, you write supporting ideas and materials. It might be research, it might be a story about a client that you worked with, it might be your own story about something that happened to you, it might be an inspirational quote. I mean, there's so many different things you could use for supporting material. But once you've got that all written out, then that's your outline. And you do not start writing your book until your outline is done. Like, do not start writing your book. It's very, very bad advice out there right now that people that say, just write whatever comes to mind. No, don't do that, because you're going to pay thousands of dollars to a writer to rewrite it all, because it's not going to be good. I hate to break it to you, but you need an outline. You need to be really strategic and organized. Even if your brain doesn't think like that, trust me, you will thank me later. It's really
Mhm.
true. And then one of the things you asked me, at the very beginning, we were talking about this theme of ways that you can use your book as a marketing tool. Well, can you imagine if you have an outline like that? Let's say you do it in Google Sheets. So there's 70 squares because there's 10 chapters and 7 main points. Actually, there's going to be more than 70 squares because you've got all your supporting material. What if you used each one of those squares for a social media post? So if you did one a week, that's more than a year of content. It's really easy to repurpose your book in that way.
Well, Mrs. Ann, interesting and empowering answer. When planning, how do we differentiate between a profile of someone who will simply enjoy the book and profile of your dream client or customer you want to attract with?
Well, how you differentiate is when they pay you.
Yes,
um,
indeed.
there is no way of knowing. You should know who your ideal client is based on all the clients that you've had. So I think it's really important. I'm glad you brought that up, because something that's important to think about is, who do I want as my ideal client? Don't just think of the last 10 clients you had and make an avatar of them. Think of the ones that were the easiest to work with, the most respectful, the kindest. I know, like, I have some that come to mind that I just love these clients that I've worked with. I end up becoming friends with most of my clients because I think they're so amazing. And so that's the most important thing, is also think about what you want more in your business. What you want more of in your business. So let's say, for example, you're a chiropractor and you help children and adults and elderly adults. So let's say you help children, I'm just making this up, but you help children overcome ear infections. You help middle-aged adults with their back pain, and like elderly people with mobility or something like that. And you can do all of these things, but what do you like to do the most? Right? Your book has to have a focus, and it's so much easier to do marketing for your book if you have a very narrow niche like that. So I mean, I can't tell you who your ideal reader is. It's basically based on someone that you've already worked with or you want to work with. And again, I said, do the research on what worries them, what problem do you solve for them. For me, like, I help people write books, but I don't just help anybody. It's pretty much coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, and a lot of natural health people. I've worked with lots of naturopaths and nutritionists and people like that. I just tend to really like that niche or niche, depending where you're from. But the thing is, I when you write a book and you put it out in the world, you're going to get more of that coming back to you. So I had a real estate agent once, and she came to me and she wanted like the full VIP package with ghostwriting and everything. She's, I'm happy to pay. I don't want to write it myself. I want you guys to do the whole thing for me. And so I said, okay, great. We'd love to. Let's book a call and we'll talk to you about your topic. So the topic she chose was how to buy a home for first time home buyers. So I got on a call with her, with our writer, and I said to her, okay, let's talk about, what do you love about working with first time home buyers? She said, I hate working with first time home buyers. I hate it. I can't stand them. I have to drive them all over town. I hate it. And I said, well, why on earth would you want to write a book about that? That's crazy. You're going to get more of that. And she said, oh, I just thought it would be easy. Like, no, 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 no. So that's a good example of me needing to make it clear to the clients, write on what you love to do. What you love to do is what you're good at. Like, it is my gift when I talk to somebody about an idea for their book. My mind is already developing a whole business around it. And we haven't even delved into the 15 different ways I have a list of to use your book as a marketing tool. But it's really important to get clear on who you're writing it for and really what makes them tick. Because, like I said before, when they read your book, they're going to go, oh my gosh, she really gets me. So they're going to want more of you, you know?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And Mrs. Ann, which of the 15 ways can we effectively deploy before the book is even published to build
Okay.
anticipation captures any leads?
Well, that's perfect. So I would say the first thing you should do before the book is even published is get your cover design, finalize your title, get your cover designed so that you can start teasing the cover. Tease people on social media, but don't constantly say my book, my book, my book, my book, my book, because you know what? They're going to get sick and tired of you and they're going to tune it out. So you can say things like around the book. You can post on social media, just had a meeting with my publisher. I'm so excited my book is coming. Because, like I always say, it is not your audience's responsibility to remember that you're writing a book or the date that your book is coming. They're busy. They don't actually care. You know, you might have a few close friends and family that care, but your audience at large on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other channels, it's not their responsibility to remember. So you just need to subtly, you could put a picture of the cover. Don't ever put three different covers and say, which one do you guys like? It's very amateur. It's very amateur. It doesn't make you look good. So, no, you just decide on the cover with your publisher or with your whoever you have, coach or somebody, and then you put it out there and you're firm and you're authoritative and you're saying, like, this is my book. I'm so excited. It's coming. It's launching next March or whatever. Right. And then you can also say other things about the book. Like, I just had a thought. I wonder if I should add extra chapter to my book or whatever, or I have a bonus chapter for my book I've been working on, so excited, like just little teases like that. So that's the first thing that you should be doing before the book comes out. The second thing you should be doing is gathering or not gathering, putting together in your own mind a list of people who you think would support your book launch. Once you have that list of between, I'd say 15 and 30 people, and they can be like friends and family and like college roommates and just people that love you and will support you no matter what. Then this is like a several step process. Okay. So you put together the list in your mind, and it's not willy-nilly, one here, one there. Put it on a piece of paper or on a Google Sheet, put a list of people. Then you ask them, I'm writing a book, as you know, it's launching in March. I'm curious if you'd be interested in helping me support my launch. Then stop talking, then stop writing, and wait for them to say yes. So then the ones who say yes, that's your list. This is a big, big, big mistake that I see people making all the time where they assume incorrectly. They assume that everyone they know is going to buy their book because the author's really excited about it and they think everybody else too is too, but they're not. I'm sorry. They're not. They have
They're
lives,
not.
they have businesses, they have young children, they have pets, they have elderly parents, they have so much to do all the time that you really need to get someone's consent and their yes, get their yes. And then that's your true list of people who will support your launch. So I hope that's helpful to your listeners.
Yes, truly, truly empowering and helpful indeed, Mrs. Anne. Everyone offers a free chapter. What's one more creative, low friction way to use book content as a lead magnet that provides immediate value?
Yeah, I don't know if everybody offers a free chapter. I don't see that as often as I would like to be honest. But you've got to think of something that goes along with the book that's added value. So for some people, it can be a quiz. For some people, it could be a Google Sheet that has sort of calculations and formulations. It can be a consultation with you. It can be like, let's say, for example, I'm just throwing this out there. I don't actually do this, but let's say I did like a book audit and I said, hey, let me show me your link to your book on Amazon and I'll tell you three things that can make it better or something like that. Right. So it's got to have a very high perceived value, not just something they can check on, chat gpt. Like, why would they bother, right? Why would they bother?
Hmm.
But we really want them to make it valuable. It could even be like a little mini course that's or a master class that's like a 45-minute a video of you explaining, going deeper into one of the concepts, and then under that video there's a link to book a strategy call with you, or book an appointment with you, or whatever your offer is, buy your thing, whatever it is. I find it nowadays is a little bit hard to go from like a free masterclass to a sale of over $1,000. There needs to be steps in between where people just want to dip their toe in a little bit and see, like, is this someone I can trust? Is this someone that makes sense? I bought a course the other day from someone. Two times it happened to me recently where I was like, oh, that was actually terrible. I didn't ask for a refund or anything like that, but it made me realize they're not someone that I want to listen to. And so those are those little $47 courses that are not a bad idea. Grab one of those, from someone, and then, the next thing you know, you can see if you really find their material valuable or not.
Interesting, Mrs. Anne. And how can you reactivate a book that's been out for a few years and make it feel new again to serve your current marketing goals?
Oh, well, it depends. It depends if you published it yourself or if somebody else published it. I have a lot of people come to Prominence Publishing who sadly used publishers who are not in business anymore. And so that's a real huge, big, 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 huge hassle because they don't have the files and everything else. But if you have your files, I would recommend doing a refresh of the cover, changing the interior with, updated in 2025. Well, now you might as well do updated 2026. You could add some bonus material. If you do that, you're going to need a new ISBN. So consider where you got the first one from and think about that. And then you can relaunch it. Just use KDP or Ingram Spark. If you don't know what those are just platforms for getting your book on Amazon. And you can relaunch it and, have a book party on Zoom and do all the fun things, show your basically like launching it all over again. And it's a great opportunity to kind of get some fresh eyes on your book. And you know what? I love that you mentioned that because a lot of people want to write book number 2, book number 3, book number 4. And I go, okay, why? If you're using your book as a marketing tool, squeeze all the juice out of it that you can before
Yes.
you move on to a different topic.
Yes, indeed. Squeeze them all and get all the juices for sure. So, Mrs. Zan, what is the first or number one mistake you see authors make when trying to use their book for marketing that actually undermines their credibility or repels their ideal clients?
That's it's the number one mistake people make is all they post is buy my book, buy my book. Haven't you bought my book? Why didn't you buy my book? They actually get mad at people. Like, you said you were going to buy my book and you didn't buy my book. Oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed for them. I really am embarrassed for them. So don't do that. Do not do that. And if somebody says, I bought your book, do not say, did you like it? Or what did you think? Don't say that. It puts them in an awkward position. If they liked your book, they will tell you. But it's just a little awkward. So if someone says, I bought your book, what you should say is, oh, that's so great. Thank you so much for your support. If it isn't too much trouble, would you be willing to write me a review on Amazon?
Yes, that's
And
a good.
speaking of which, what would be a really great holiday present, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or
What?
Ramadan or whatever you celebrate? There's lots of
Yes,
different celebrations at this time of year.
yes.
Write a review for an author. That would be a great gift to give
Gift.
them because
Yeah.
everybody needs more reviews on Amazon.
True. True, people. Give them reviews. And Mrs. Ann, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract poetry in second season. I'm a book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 second season. I'm a food 101 is sixth season this December. Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101, Music 101, our fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101, in its second season of my baby podcast, Law 101, Mental Health 101, and Bible Verses 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Zan, if you could only choose one of the 15 ways, the one that the highest return in one time and energy of the most authors, what would it be and what is the first step to implement it next week?
Oh my gosh, they're one of the 15 ways. Well, maybe I would say pull some quotes from your book. You can even use AI to help you. Pull some quotes from your book and make some quote cards, and put those on LinkedIn and Instagram, which are very beautiful. And they have a quote from your book, and then at the bottom it says your name, author, and has a picture of the front cover of your book. Using the front cover of your book visually everywhere you can is a really good idea, because it just visually reminds people that you are an author and you've written a book, because they, like I said, they won't remember, right? So they're like, oh yeah, yeah, she wrote that book, yeah, that's cool. Just to
Yes.
remind them without telling them, just to visually remind them. So I would say get your book everywhere. When I see an author on LinkedIn and they don't have their book on their banner, I think, why not? Why don't you have your book on your banner? Your book should be on your website. Your ideal client should not need to hunt around like a detective trying to find out if you have a book or not. Also, big mistake is not setting up your Amazon author profile correctly, because I look at people that don't have one set up and I think they don't know what they're doing. So make sure you come across as very professional.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mrs. Anne. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Hoping,
you.
hoping for more and more episodes for us. I have a lot of podcasts for sure. I will invite you again and again and again and talk about something good. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Oh, thank you. Yes, if they'd like to, I have like a free training that might be interesting, and that's at publishwithprominence.com/free, and I can give you that link to put in the show notes. And we also, well, I just wrapped up a project. We were raising money locally to build a building, a really amazing building for women who are getting away from domestic violence. That's really true to my heart. So that's what I've been working on in my personal, like on the side.
Yes.
But if people want to connect with me, they can reach me through Facebook or LinkedIn. Luckily for me, I am the only Suzanne Doyle-Ingram. I mean, I hope that
Yes.
nobody tries to copy me. So I'm easy to find. They can also go to my website, prominencepublishing.com, if they want to book a call with me and talk about their book ideas. I'd be happy to help.
Yes, people, let's support Mrs. Doyle Ingram because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering advocacy to come and more empowering books will be published. So, Mrs. Anne, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciated you inviting me onto your show.
Monica, people, see you soon.